Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Outdoor Builders Podcast. We have a special guest today, Bruno Freitas, joining in today from Oakland, the CEO of Empire Pavers. Clap it up, everybody.
Thank you.
Bruno, man, thank you for being here. It's a privilege, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for taking time to be here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, honor to be here, and let's do it.
All right. First of all, introduce yourself, your name, your background, a little bit about yourself to our listeners.
Yeah, so my name is Bruno de Oliveira Freitas.
Fancy.
Yeah, it's a fancy name. So born and raised in Brazil in 2016, and then when I turned 16, I came to America, and basically that's what happened. You know, came to America for the American dream that everyone talks about.
All right. So with Empire Pavers, how long has Empire Pavers been in business?
I would say Empire Pavers has been in business since day one that I decided to do this stuff, landscape and hardscape. However, I did have two businesses before Empire, and the main idea was always to work with pavement and pavers and hardscape works, including, retaining walls and synthetic turf and things like that.
Go Empire Pavers. Most of the time, people are going to look at the logo, see the name, they're going to see Empire Pavers. All you do is pavers, right?
No.
So tell us a little bit more about that. Like, what do you do? What do you guys specialize in? What do you guys love to do?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Due to the fact that I started working with pavers, so a lot of people tend to think that I am only a contractor that specializes in pavers. However, our business today specializes in outdoor living spaces, which means anything that you see outdoors, that's what we do. Right? From landscape, hardscape, concrete, swimming pools, decking, pergolas, whatever you see outside on a backyard, we can get it done. So that's what Empire does today. We started with Empire Pavers name, but today we're actually an outdoor building company.
Perfect. It sounds like you really love what you guys do here, correct?
Yes, I mean, just being able to create people's dream and being able to meeting up with homeowners and clients that wants to be, just transform their yard, and they come to us and they ask us, how can we do something that's going to look nice, and how can we, visualize how a potentially the yard could look like, right?
Yeah.
So we're the only company today in the Bay Area to design, manage, and build. We specialize in, like I said, hardscape and landscape work. Once we have a meeting with a client, we're able to show it to them everything that we can provide as a company. So we start with the design. So we design their whole yard, and we ask them key questions about what is it that you like, what is it that you want to see in the yard. And from that point, that first meetup, that first conversation, we put that into a 3D reality. So they get to see their yard, how it could potentially look like.
So for those people who are more visual, they need to see, hey, this colored paver or this style of wall, you guys are able to help them see what you guys are designing, correct?
Exactly. So a lot of people don't have that much knowledge, and they don't have that much experience, right? Because they don't do this stuff. And this is when they come up to us and they ask us, how can you guys create a scenario without me even seeing it before you do the construction? And that's why we decided to do, you know what? Let's do a 3D design so that way our clients will know what to expect from our company.
That sounds amazing. I mean, especially for those customers sometimes who, they want to rejuvenate their backyard,
That's right.
but they don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
That's where you guys come in as the experts, and you guys say, hey, this is what we can do.
Exactly.
This is what we can design. And then here's a render of what we could do for you in your space.
Exactly. So I feel like everyone has a dream to conquer. And then when it comes down to homeowners, they have two dreams. One of them is buy a house.
Oh, yeah. Especially in the Bay Area. Everybody knows how hard that is.
Yeah, I mean, you know how hard that is to get a house over here in the Bay Area. But once you buy a house, you move in. Okay, you might have some inside remodeling. But when it comes down to the outside, the Bay Area is a very unique place where you get usually a good weather throughout the whole year. Not right now because it's raining like crazy, but like through the whole year, you usually get a good weather. Even if it is the summer or winter, you get to stay outside. And we're able to create nice scenarios for both, for both seasons of the year, either summer or winter. We can do, fire pits with, a nice area where people can sit down and have some good time outside their house. And during summer, we do have the grills that we create, all the outdoor kitchen, all that stuff. And man, people really wear that thing out. Once we build it, they're like grilling every night of summer. Right?
That's perfect. That's awesome. Let me, if I may, backtrack here for a little bit.
Right.
Into why hardscape? You said you came here as a young adult, right?
Yes.
You didn't come here from Brazil saying, I'm going to go to America and lay pavers, right? Like, what enticed you? What brought you over to the hardscape side?
I got you. So do you want to hear the real story?
Yeah, let's hear it. We got time.
So growing up in Brazil, my parents came over to the U.S. at first. And then I decided to, I didn't decide anything. I was just there waiting for my parents to come back, and they never did, right? And one day my dad basically calls me and goes like, listen, you're going to come and see me. However, I didn't know how that was going to be. But basically, my sister and I at the time, my sister was 8 years old, I was 16. We actually got in... we went from Brazil to Mexico, and Mexico, we got in another plane to Cuba. So we stayed a whole week in Cuba. This is like an Indiana Jones and like a Netflix series, right?
It's like a narco series.
Something like that, yeah. Anyway, so Mexico to Cuba. In Cuba, we spent a whole week waiting on a coyote, waiting on someone to help us get across to America. And today, I'm not ashamed of sharing this. The reason why is because, I applied for my petition and I asked for forgiveness to the U.S. And today I'm a legal citizen. And once that happened, in Bahamas, my dad called us and he basically said, you're going to get in a boat and you're going to come here and see us again, It was almost 10 years without seeing my parents.
Wow.
So my sister and I, you can only imagine. We got in a boat from Bahamas to Miami. That's right, in the Triángulo de las Bermudas.
For the Bermuda Triangle, for my non-bilingual folks out there.
Exactly, thank you. And we got in a boat, and it took us over 20 hours in a boat. And the reason why is the boat stopped working. A lot of water come inside the boat. We almost died. It was a crazy scenario. At one point, I just hugged my sister, and I was like, this is it. There's nothing much I can do. But God was good. He helped us get through. It was a really rough scenario, really rough situation. And after almost 10 years, I was able to get through the Bahamas Sea and get to Miami safely after all that crazy storm, and we almost died. And we saw our parents once again, and they brought us here to the Bay Area. They came here originally to the Bay Area. And my dad basically said, you're going to high school and you're going to learn English and you're going to start your own business. I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. Originally, I feel like he wanted me to just bring some extra cash, to help him with the household expenses. So from that point, I went to high school, I learned a little English. And then I was always a guy looking for how can we really work? Like, how can we make extra money? Talk with my brother, talk with my sister. What is it that we can do to make that extra cash? And then always hustling, like I never stop hustling since when I can remember. And I used to post ads on Craigslist. Do you remember Craigslist?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you find whatever you need.
Do people still use that?
Yeah, they do. You find anything on Craigslist, right? But back in the days, that used to be basically a Yellow Page or Home Advisor. Whatever we use today, that used to be the main thing to find projects and things, and gigs. That's what they used to call for you to find, projects to do. Mm-hmm. And I used to do the ads saying, "I'll clean up your yard. I'll clean up your garage. I'll help you remove the trash out of your yard."
General labor.
Anything related to construction in general, right? And meanwhile, when I was not doing that, I was actually at the Home Depot. You see those guys hanging out at Home Depot? So I used to be one of those guys. And one day I got picked up at this American guy. And this American guy basically came up to me and he was like, "Listen, you want to work? I'll pay you," I think it was $12 an hour or something like that. And I was like, "Sure." So he brought me into inside construction. So he was a General B license. So he was a general contractor. He was doing a kitchen remodeling. And then I look at that, and I was helping him over here in Castro Valley. We did a full kitchen remodeling, right? And everything was looking great and amazing. And then we finished the job. The homeowner came by, and the lady basically said, well, I don't like this. It looks terrible. This tile is not like the other tile on the other end. And that was when it clicked, you know. Why? Because I was able to clean up a yard much faster and get a good pay and don't have to worry about anything. And then there's this lady where she paid a little bit more than what I usually would get, you know, on my daily cleanups and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she was all being picky about something that she was not happy about. I was like, you see, I don't feel like I want to do this. Mm-hmm. I think I should stick with the outside stuff. And then from there on, I started my first business. We used to be called BP Pavers.
Okay.
Bruno and Pablo, which is my brother, right? So it used to be BP Paving. And what we used to do is pavement, right? Because once I started doing the cleanups from those Craigslist people, they started asking me, do you do anything else? Can you do a planting? Yeah, sure. Can you do some lawn? Sure. Can you do a bandit board? Yeah, like easy things. And I started saying, sure. And at one point, I learned how to do the thing, you know? Mm-hmm. I work with another friend of mine, a Brazilian guy, laying some pavers, and I was like, this is kind of cool, and how much we charge for this? And then when he told me the price, I was like, wait a minute, so you're saying that we can get this much money if we lay 1,000 square feet? And he said, yes. How long is it taking you to lay 1,000 square feet? That was my whole 2-3 months worth of work within a project. Wow. And that's when it clicked, and I was like, you know what? Mm-hmm. This is it. I found what I want to be doing it, right? So BP Paving comes along. We start doing the pavement. I didn't know nothing. It means paperwork-wise, liability insurance, workers' compensation, all that stuff that you really need to have in order for you to be a legit business. No license. I was just keeping posting my ads on Craigslist and thinking that was going to make it, right? And then, sure enough, bad things happen, right? So I didn't know how to run the business the way it should be. And,
so at this point in time, you are CEO, laborer, sales, project management, accounts payable, accounts receivable, accounting, bookkeeping, everything.
Yes.
You're a man with 1,000 hats.
Exactly. So you can't really do everything by yourself. You know, you can start by doing everything by yourself, but I guess to a point where it's like, I can't do it anymore.
Okay.
It's just a lot of details to pay attention to, and sometimes a little thing that you forget or a little thing that you miss, that can cost your whole business. That's exactly what happened with me. You know, I didn't have a license at the time, and I did a job for a guy. I don't want to say the location, but basically I finished the whole thing, and then he never paid me. And I was like, why are you not going to pay me? Because you're not a licensed contractor. So he basically never paid me $80,000 from $120,000, $130,000 project worth it. He did give me some money up front. And this is good for the guys out there that's trying to start their own business. Do not do a business if you don't have a license. Do not try to bid on a project if you don't have a license. And the reason why is to protect yourself, is to protect the homeowner. I learned the hard way. It cost me $80,000. It did cost me $80,000.
It's an expensive lesson.
Exactly. I used to tell my wife that's my college education.
That's your college tuition, $80,000.
Yes.
And then you wised up a bit, huh?
Yeah, she's calling me. That's so funny. So, basically, when that happened, I went back to work with my old boss, and I had to pay guys out because when I started with my brother, it was kind of like, now we are a legit business, but not being legit because we didn't have a license. We didn't have workers' comp, liability insurance. We had all that. But the homeowner did take advantage of us by not paying us because he knew we didn't have a license. Yeah. And he waited until the end for the last check to just say, well, you don't have a license, so I'm not paying you. And there's nothing you can do. Once you don't have a license, you go to file a complaint or something. You can't place a lien. The only thing you can do is only pay... you only get paid your daily worth of work. So essentially, the homeowner will have to pay you for the days that you work at his house at the regular state of California, in this case, construction, hourly labor cost. So whatever that is. So that's a good thing to know for people that don't know. Like, you can't really sue the homeowner if you're not a licensed contractor. No. So that's what happened with BP Pavers, and then I lost everything. I went back, and I tried to work with my older boss, and again, I'm a kind of guy that I never give up. I'm always up front. I'm always trying again. So I started a new business, which was Pro Pavers, right? Second business. And then once that happened, I was like, I got this now. You know, I'll get a license and everything will be done. You know, I'm not gonna have any more problems. And I worked good. That's when I made my first million in 2013 in gross sales, right? Okay. So
at that point in time, have you expanded in regard to the labor force? Are you using not only yourself, but also, I imagine, like general labor or actual installers, or do you have people in office? Or
so I used to hire the guys that I met at Home Depot, pay them the daily rate, like we always do. Back in the days, that's how we used to do. Getting people to help us out, you pay them by the hour, whatever. At the end of the day, you pay them cash, right? But over time, we learned that, again, you need a set of team and people that you can relate on it. So I did have guys working with me on a daily basis where they are like fixed employees of the business, where they know what they need to do. I was teaching them the whole time. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. And they learn. At one point, they get it, and they go for it, right? And then I started my own business again, Pro Pavers, which was a really good business. I made my first million with that business, and I was like, okay, I got this now, and I know it needs to be done. And that's again, that's when when you get to a comfortable zone, it can really hurt you bad if you don't know what you're doing. So I thought that I knew what I was doing because I have a license, and now everything's perfect, everything's fine. But it takes one complaint from someone to ruin everything, right? So if you have a license, a contractor license, do everything that you possibly can to avoid getting a complaint on your license. And the reason why, once that happened, the state does send someone over to the client's property, and they start asking them a bunch of questions. And then the state investigator will come into your business, even if your business is inside your house or it's a location, and they will start asking you questions about, all right, let me see the contract that you have. And then, believe me, if you don't have a lawyer typing up your, you cannot even call a contract. It's a home improvement agreement. The state can basically just shut down your business. What they'll do is they'll suspend your license until you get everything fixed. So how are you going to get everything fixed if you're not making any money? There's no income coming in because your business shut it down, right? You can't really go back to the job site. So be smart. I'll tell people, be smart with that. Don't mess up. Do the best you can. I have to give money back to clients in a position where it's like, I know they're taking advantage of me. I'd rather pay this because it's going to be cheaper for me to do that than to actually go again, go like, and let's fight for it and let's see what is going to happen, right? Just trust me, it's not going to work. Okay. I learned the hard way. And then because of that complaint, I lost Pro Pavers, which was the second business. I was about $3 million in revenue the last year. I was doing great. And then today, I would say that I learned everything that I'm not supposed to do in order to keep succeeding. And it's working. It's working. Empire, it's been along for now 5 years, but I feel like all the knowledge and all the baggage that I have does come from 16 years ago. All the
experience that you gained throughout the years.
Exactly. So it took time, but guess what? I made it, and now I know exactly what I should do, and I know what I'm not supposed to do. And I have a beautiful team. I have a great team that does help me with everything. Each department gets handled by a single person. So that way I can go home and sleep, try to sleep. Because once you're a CEO, you don't sleep at all. You're always like thinking about the next thing, right?
Yeah.
So, I get to go home and I get to see what's going on with, I just ask one person, what is this, and they will answer me what it is, which is great.
Perfect.
Right?
Perfect. So this brings us out to outdoor builders. Right? What is the purpose, your goal for this podcast? Why do the Outdoor Builders podcast?
That's a great question. I had this desire in my heart for a very long time, right? And the idea is to help people understand that is easier way for you to make into where you want to be, right?
How to achieve their goals.
Achieve their goals, exactly. So the goal about the podcast of, Outdoor Builders is to help people and teach them how to do it a legit construction company in a way where you follow everything by the books, right? So this podcast is going to be teaching and helping people understand what are the steps that they should take in order to get to where they want to be, right? So if someone asks me, how can I start my hardscape company? Sure, I'll teach you how to do it. How to start my landscape company? Sure, I'll teach you how to do it. As long as it's a hardscape, landscape, anything outside of the house that you want to be working with, I can help you with that. And the main idea of the podcast is to be able to teach those people to don't commit the same mistakes that I did.
Perfect. So let our listeners know what to expect moving forward.
Oh, yeah, great. So I'll be here every week recording a video, talking about topics that comes in conversations all the time. So I'll be here telling people what to do and explaining where they need to go and talk with the right departments. If they want to start their own business, they need to get an ITIN number. How you do that? I can definitely, connect them with people that knows how to do that stuff. You need to get a contractor license. Okay, there's schools out here that I can connect with people out there. So it's like I want to educate people and help them grow their business, grow their mindset, of course, as first. And I guarantee you, if everyone follows the steps that we're going to be teaching here, they can be in a 6-figure business within the first year.
Wow.
That crazy. Yes.
That sounds
promising,
crazy. Yeah.
Right? And that's the idea. If you follow what we're teaching you, if you follow what we're telling you to do, I guarantee you that you're going to be into a 6-figure business within your first year. Right? So if you want to get to a 7-figure business, we're going to help you too. If you want to get to an 8-figure business, we're also going to help you too. Why? Because we have the experience and we know how to get there.
Wow. That sounds exciting. I cannot wait to see what the podcast has to bring. I want to thank everybody here for listening.
Yes.
Joining us along here on video as well. Bruno, thank you for your time. I know you're a very busy man. Thank you. But that's it. That's the first episode of the Outdoor Builders Podcast. Thank you guys very much. We'll see each other next week.
Thank you.